In a world where efficiency and technological advancements are at the forefront of automotive design, one special division within Chrysler has toiled away, keeping the muscle car tradition alive, turning ordinary cars, trucks, and Jeeps into flame-belching monsters. They're the embodiment of muscle in the modern age, a team whose badge means one thing and one thing only: business, baby! This is everything you need to know to get up to speed on SRT. One fine afternoon in 1998, Chrysler's exec vice pres of product development, Tom Gale, was perusing the convention floor of the automotive aftermarket's biggest annual shindig, the SEMA show. Early in Gale's career, he helped design the Plymouth Barracuda, and he also played a huge part in developing the Dodge Viper, which rekindled a focus on performance at Chrysler. And that's why he was at SEMA. He wanted to see for himself what trends would be in the world of performance. But what he saw surprised him. No one was looking at the V8 powered muscle cars that Tom had grown up with. All the cool kids were transfixed on the souped up import sport compacts like Civics, Integras, and Eclipses. The tuner movement was in full swing, and even though Tom wasn't a tuner guy himself, he was smart. And he saw that young people wanted a car that was fast, affordable, and moddable. So he would build them one. Gale put a team together of the most talented people at Chrysler to work on the new project. He united Team Viper, the people behind the Viper, and Team Prowler, the people behind the Prowler. The team got their paws on Dodge's compact economy car, the Neon, and started fiddling around with it. They completed their first concept build in only 4 months, complete with a supercharger on top of a 2-liter engine. They took the feisty little Neon back to SEMA the next year, and people frickin' loved it. But the suits back at Chrysler were hesitant to put it into production. In 2002, the Neon project was taken over by Chrysler's Performance Vehicle Operations Division. PVO swapped out the blown 4-banger for a turbocharged setup and fitted the Neon with a trick clutch, 5-speed gearbox, equal length drive shafts to reduce torque steer, and Tokiko racing struts to help the car stay planted. They gave the Neon a more aggressive nose to let in more air to the engine bay, and kept it all off with a big fat spoiler out back. You can't be a tuner car and not have a ridiculous wing. I'm sorry, them's the rules. And if we don't have rules, then life is anarchy. Amazingly, these changes won the suits over, and it was approved for sale to the public in 2003. All it needed was a name. It was a Neon, used PVO's street and racing technology, and had a 4-cylinder engine. Neon SRT4. Nice! Dodge's factory-built tuner was a serious contender on the road and track. Critics of the day praised the SRT4 for its precise handling and strong engine. Team Viper, Team Prowler, and PVO really put their hearts into this car, and it showed. But the public really didn't know what to think. Some people wrote it off immediately because of the styling. Others couldn't fathom that an American company was making not just an import fighter, but an import beater. As a result, it didn't sell very well. And the Neon SRT4 only lasted 3 years. But the SRT badge? Oh,
it was just getting started.
To unite Dodge's new performance wing, the new Viper was sold with SRT branding starting in 2003. The next year, PVO changed their name to SRT, since all the cars they worked on had the SRT badge and not PVO. So, makes sense. What didn't make sense was their next project. The Viper's crown jewel was its radical 10-cylinder engine under the hood, making 500 horsepower. 500? That's a lot of horsies running around. It's a sick engine, but the team at SRT thought it was a waste that only one car got to use it, so they threw it in something else. Which something else? All of Dodge passenger cars were too small for the engine to fit into, and the V10 Caravan would just be wrong. They needed something a little bigger, but that left only one option, and it wasn't exactly a car. In its stock form, the Dodge Ram is not a performance vehicle. It was designed to tow stuff and carry things, and it isn't particularly aerodynamic. Naturally, these inherently unsporty-like qualities immediately disqualified the Ram from the search for the Viper V10's new home, right? Wrong! Come on! SRT ain't going out like that. The V10 dropped right in. Then they took the truck to the wind tunnel for some aero testing. They gave the Ram SRT10 a power bulge hood scoop to feed the hungry engine more air, and even added a little spoiler to the back. The Ram SRT10 came with a 6-speed manual with a Hurst shifter and did 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds. That's not bad for a pickup. The SRT10 was built on top of a stiffened hydroformed frame and rode on tuned Bilstein shocks. Like the Neon, SRT put everything into making the SRT10 a real driver's truck. The next year, SRT would turn their attention to their first non-Dodge product, the Chrysler Crossfire.
Y'all get caught up in the crossfire.
And like the SLK AMG, the Crossfire SRT6 came with a supercharged, intercooled V6 pushing 330 horsepower, baby. The Crossfire was a huge win for Chrysler, as people were super impressed with how nice it was. And the supercharged mill under the hood was a nice little bonus. 7 SRT engineers went over to Germany to develop the Crossfire, spending their time testing the coupe on the Autobahn and Papenburg test track. But because the car was a little more German than it was Yankee, SRT was itching to get started on another project. A return to why did you make this car so fast form. Dan Knott was a Chrysler company man who had been with the company since 1988. In 2002, he was made head of SRT, where he got the ball rolling on a special project for the division. Dan really liked Jeeps, and a few years later, he would be in charge of the brand. Like the SRT Neons and Rams before it, Dan really wanted a Jeep that would kick all kinds of butt on the track. The Wrangler was too off-road focused to be the right car for the job. But the Cherokee? That could work. SRT started by yanking out the whole drivetrain, replacing the stock 3.7 liter V6 and stuffing in a thick 6.1 liter, 420 horsepower Hemi V8. They designed a brand new torque converter and transfer case to give the Cherokee full-time all-wheel drive, which would need to pull off 0 to 60 times of 4.8 seconds. Around the same time as the Cherokee project, SRT was also hopping up a bunch of other Chrysler models. There was the Magnum SRT8 with its 6.1 liter Hemi. The 300C, Charger, and Challenger SRTs got a similar treatment. Even the Caliber hatchback was hopped up to make 285 horsepower. The team was putting the Hemi in darn near everything, determined to let everyone know that the SRT badge meant muscle. To really send the message home, SRT became its own brand in 2012. That meant when you wanted to get a Charger, Challenger, 300, or Cherokee SRT, you weren't buying one from Dodge, Chrysler, or Jeep. It was an SRT. This was a little confusing for a lot of consumers. The goal was to unify all of Chrysler's performance cars under one roof, with the new Viper leading the way. But even Dodge nerds like Nolan thought it didn't make much sense. And the independent SRT brand was dissolved just 2 years later, with all the models going back to their respective home brands. But just a year after that, SRT would launch a model that would completely reignite the flame, bringing the fire to a height never seen before. They were working on a new Challenger project whose goal was to hit 600 horsepower, making it one of, if not the most powerful passenger car in the US. Work was going swimmingly until they learned that Ford's new Shelby GT500 would make over 660 horsepower. Crap! SRT's head of powertrain development, Chris Callan, was a hard man to please and would not be content with a second place trophy. So SRT would go bigger, way bigger. This top of the line Challenger would have to be so powerful that SRT's right to the horsepower throne would be undeniable. We will make 707 horsepower, Chris whispered to himself in the mirror. Chris and his closest associates didn't tell upper management what they were doing. They did their work in secret until all their goals had been met. The new engine got 22 miles per gallon on the highway, but also hustled the car to a 10.8 second quarter mile. And of course, it made over 700 horsepower. It was ready. The Challenger and Charger Hellcats made their debut in 2015 and immediately put SRT on top of the muscle car game. The Hellcat twins were unapologetic with their purpose. They're big, fast, mean, and really, really loud. You could even get the Challenger Hellcat with a 6-speed manual. Sure, the automatic is technically faster to 60, but come on! Over 700 horses and 3 pedals. What more could a man want? Yes. 840 horsepower. That is Correct. You're such a smart boy. SRT stepped up their own game by developing the Demon, a purpose-built street-legal drag car that runs 9s at the drag strip. It might look like the Hellcat, but it's totally different underneath. And if you want to know more, check out this episode right up here. But SRT wasn't done. Come on, you knew they weren't. These guys literally can't stop. They're horsepower junkies. They entered in a pact with the god of speed and sound, and if they stopped working, the god of speed and sound will come up out of the ground and envelop the SRT headquarters, sparking the new world order and ending life on this planet as we know it. Knowing they have to keep the prophecy at bay, SRT put the Hellcat's engine into another host, this time with the whole family in mind. The Jeep TrackHawk was built in the spirit of the original Cherokee SRT8, but this time around with 707 horsepower on tap and all-wheel drive that will literally make you forget to breathe. Ask me how I know. You have to remind yourself to breathe. With a 0 to 60 of 3.5 seconds, SRT has designed the world's fastest accelerating SUV. Unfortunately, the father of the original SRT8, Dan Knott, passed away in 2012. But I know he would have been extremely proud of SRT's work on the Trackhawk. There was a lot of speculation around SRT's next project. Would it be a new Viper, an even more extreme Challenger, a Hellcat Caravan? The answer to all of those is no. In June 2018, we learned that the next SRT build will be another Ram, but instead of a V10 Viper motor, it's getting the Hellcat treatment. This new Ram will be outfitted for off-road duty, aimed squarely at the Ford Raptor. Its name? TRX.
Say again. We have a T-Rex. Wow.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right here. We didn't talk much about the Viper because we have an episode on it, so click this and watch it. Check out this episode on the Daytona and the Superbird. We got new merch. Go to shop.donut.media and check it out. Follow me on Instagram at James Pumphrey. Follow Donut at Donut Media. I love you.